We are now going to focus on a different type of turtle, the sea turtles. What habitats that we mentioned earlier do you think we will find sea turtles? The ocean and the sand dunes. There are 4 species or types of sea turtles that live in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of South Carolina. They look different, they crawl different, they eat different food, they lay different sizes of eggs, even though they live in the same ocean. Our first turtle is the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. Do you think this is a small or a large turtle? Believe it or not, this is the smallest sea turtle in the entire world. They only grow to be about 75 to 100 pounds. Notice their olive gray coloration, that's a big giveaway. And their carapace is rounded. And that's also going to be pretty different than all the other sea turtles. And this might help them be a little bit more agile or move quicker to catch fast-moving blue crabs. Let's look at their skull. Notice their upper jaw has a hooked upper beak. This acts like a nutcracker to crack crabs and snails and clams. Do most sea turtles nest during the night or during the day? And I bet you said the night, and that would be correct. Most sea turtles tend to nest at night because of safety and it's cooler. Some of the photos and videos that we're going to use throughout this program were taken at night by park rangers using a red light. And red lights tend to not confuse and disturb sea turtles as easily. But make no mistake, anytime you're on the beach, you have an opportunity to scare off a nesting turtle. We also got lucky a couple times and saw some turtle activity still happening on the beach at daybreak. Kemp's Ridleys are rare because they nest during the heat of the day. The second question I have, do sea turtles nest by themselves or in big, huge groups? And I bet you said by themselves, which would be correct. But again, Kemp's Ridleys are different. So imagine walking down a beach during the day and coming across hundreds of nesting sea turtles. Can you imagine? I think it would be the most amazing thing to see. However, I would have to go to this special beach in Mexico to see that. It's not happening in the United States. How cool is that? What does endangered mean? Endangered means there are not many left. And most animals and plants become endangered due to the actions of humans. But it's up to humans to help them to recover. Since Kemp's Ridleys nest during the day and in large numbers, many of their eggs were harvested for food. Also, they were being killed while they were swimming in the ocean because they were being caught in shrimp nets and drowning. So their numbers started declining quite rapidly, and biologists feared they were headed towards extinction. What's extinction mean? That's right, no more. None of them are left on this planet. And so the US and the Mexican governments got together and started working together to help save this incredible animal. Due to a variety of efforts, they are nesting in larger numbers, but they still need our help and all of our protection. So one of the fascinating things about sea turtles is how different they look from the adult stage to the juvenile stage to the hatchling or baby sea turtle stage. So this is a picture of the adult sea turtle that nested at Litchfield Beach, which is just down the road from Myrtle Beach. Here's a picture of the hatchling. Look how different it looks. It's amazing how many changes they go through during their entire life cycle. Kemp's Ridleys are rare nesters in all the United States. Their most common nesting areas would be down in Texas, but they have nested in the state of South Carolina. Do you want to guess how many? 100. I heard 100, way lower. 15, that's a low number, but believe it or not, it's still lower. We filmed this portion yesterday and we were saying 4 times ever in the state of South Carolina. But breaking news, we just learned that there was one more Kemp's Ridley nest that nested in 2020 north of Myrtle Beach up at Hog Inlet. So now it's 5 times ever in the state of South Carolina. Even though we don't see adult Kemp's Ridleys very often off our coast, it is quite easy to see the smaller juveniles or the youngsters. And so we might see their carapace size ranging from about here, maybe on up to here. And so if you're fishing off a fishing pier or out in a boat, look for that dark gray or olive coloration and that rounded carapace, and that's gonna let you know that you saw a Kemp's Ridley. As you can see, we're going up in size. This is a Loggerhead Sea Turtle, South Carolina's state reptile. They grow to be about 200 to 300 pounds. And as you can see, they're brown, but they have some tints of oranges, some tans. They're a much different color than a Kemp's Ridley. This is our most common nesting turtle in the state of South Carolina. We have thousands of nests a year. If you're lucky, if you're walking down the beach, you will spot one of these gorgeous crawls. This is a sign that a sea turtle came ashore. Let's look at the loggerhead skull. They have large heads proportioned to their bodies. It's why they're called loggerheads. Notice these two large holes in the back of their head. I can fit my hand in here. These are areas where they have huge jaw muscles and a large, strong bottom jaw that enables them to crunch hard-bodied animals. They have a biting force of 500 pounds, so that helps them to easily crack horseshoe crabs, other crabs, snails such as whelks, clams, and then they might eat some fish, some jellyfish. They're not really picky eaters compared to all the other sea turtles. So let's see how different the hatchlings look from the adults. We'll start first with the loggerhead. Here's a loggerhead. Do you notice something different? Does this ring a bell? It kind of looks like a Kemp's Ridley hatchling, doesn't it? But it's amazing how similar they look when they're young, but boy, do they look different when they grow older, don't they? Loggerheads are a threatened species. What does that mean? It means they are not in much trouble as endangered species, but are still protected by laws and need our help. We will talk about some easy actions that you can do as we go down to the beach later on. It might be hard to tell, but we're still going up in size. This is a green sea turtle, and they weigh between 250 to 400 pounds. Green sea turtles have a darker carapace color than the loggerheads, and they have a smaller head, which we'll talk about a little bit later. You're wondering, why is it called a green sea turtle when clearly it's what color? Did I hear brown? Yeah, it's clearly brown. Why is it called a green sea turtle? Let's look at the skull to help answer this question. Remember when we said that turtles don't have teeth? It kind of looks like this turtle has teeth on its bottom jaw, doesn't it? These serrations aren't teeth, but they act like scissors to shear off seagrasses and algae, which is their main food as adults. This video was taken down in the Caribbean, and it was so cool to watch the sea turtle chomping at all the seagrasses. And since they eat these green plants, this is what turns their fatty tissues on the inside green and gives them their name. In fact, green sea turtles became endangered because they are very good to eat due to their diet. Back in 1503, when Christopher Columbus was sailing around the Caribbean, there were so many green sea turtles that their carapaces, remember the back of their shells, looked like rocks that would enable one to walk across the water. I mean, can you imagine seeing that many? Unfortunately, they were harvested for hundreds of years for food, and that's why they became endangered. South Carolina usually has some nesting green sea turtles each summer. In 2019, we had a record-breaking year. Do you want to guess how many? I heard 1,000. Good guess. Way lower. Oh, I think I heard 100. Still lower. 10. Good guess. We had 20. 20 nests. I know that doesn't sound many, but believe it or not, that was a record-breaking year. It's our second most common nesting turtle in all of South Carolina. Although we don't get many green nesting sea turtles in the state of South Carolina, Florida is a great place to go to see green sea turtles. Another good place to go if you want to get out your passport is Costa Rica. Let's compare the nesting habits of loggerhead sea turtles and green sea turtles. Everybody get out your flippers. So if you're a loggerhead sea turtle, when you're crawling up the beach, you're going to crawl up the beach like this. Your flippers are going to move alternately. So your crawl is going to look pretty different and distinct. Now get out your flippers again for a green sea turtle. And green sea turtles, they crawl up the beach like this. They move their flippers in an opposite manner, and they also drag their tail. And so their crawl looks very different than a loggerhead and looks like this. Even if you can't see the crawls, the nesting area of a green and a loggerhead sea turtle look very different too. Loggerhead sea turtles are very tidy nesters. They'll throw a little bit of sand, but they nest right on top of the sand. Green sea turtles move an enormous amount of sand. They actually move 1 ton of sand, which is a lot. In fact, if you're walking down the beach, you could actually fall into the pit that a green sea turtle has dug out. It's amazing how much sand they move. Now let's look at a video of a green hatchling. Look how gorgeous they are. They're very bold and bright in coloration, very different than the loggerhead. But also, do you notice something different? Remember when we were talking about the green, how it crawled as an adult with the flippers like this? Notice the hatchling. it's crawling like that. Sometime during its life stage, it changes how it crawls when it comes back up on our beaches to lay eggs. Since we don't have that many green sea turtle nests in the state of South Carolina, it's going to be rare to see an adult green sea turtle. However, juvenile green sea turtles, again, smaller sea turtles, are going to be found quite often if you go to the jetty at Huntington Beach State Park, which is just down the road from Myrtle Beach State Park. So during the warmer months of the year, take the long hike up to the jetty. It's a great walk, and you'll see these beautiful juvenile green sea turtles. They have gorgeous brown shells with a little bit of a starburst, and they'll be coming up for air and then diving back down. It's really fun to watch, so I hope you get a chance to see it. So what's the largest sea turtle in the entire world?
The leatherback.
Did I hear it? Yeah, it's the giant leatherback sea turtle. They grow to be 1,000 pounds. Unlike all the other sea turtles, leatherbacks don't have a hard shell. It's soft and leathery. And this is one way that helps them be very deep divers. They can dive down over 4,200 feet. That's really deep. The skull of a leatherback is very different looking. Even though they are huge, notice how delicate their bottom jaw is. It's much smaller than the loggerhead. And this leads us to a clue. What do you think they eat?
Jellyfish.
I heard it. Yeah, jellyfish. And since jellyfish are mainly made out of water and are slimy, they don't need strong jaws to crunch and munch. So those cuffs, those notches on the upper jaw, that's going to help grasp the slimy jellies. And the bottom jaw is going to act like scissors to slice the jellyfish into smaller pieces. Leatherbacks are rare nesters in the state of South Carolina. As of 2020, there have been less than 40 recorded nests ever in the entire state. They are more common nesting on the east coast of Florida. But if you want to see a lot more nesting leatherbacks, you have to get out your passport again. You could go to Gabon, Trinidad Tobago, or French Guiana. Did you know that leatherbacks are one of the most highly migratory animals in all the world? Yeah. But what's it mean to migrate? They move from one place to another. And here in South Carolina, we are so lucky that it's pretty easy to spot leatherbacks during their migration sometime in the months of April, May, and early June. I have witnessed them hundreds of times off the fishing pier at Myrtle Beach State Park. And guess what I've seen them eating? Yeah, cannonball jellies. It's so cool. I hope someday you get to see it. There was one turtle that was found off Hunting Island State Park that had nested 8 months earlier down in Trinidad. So these turtles really move around the world. They will migrate all the way up the coast of the Canadian waters eating jellies. One tag leatherback that nested down in French Guiana was spotted off the coast of Newfoundland and Canada eating lion's mane jellyfish. Since they are so massive, they must have to eat a lot of jellies, right? Well, one study showed that they ate about 16,000 calories a day. For comparison, a second grader needs to eat about 1,600 calories a day. So you're gonna have to eat a lot of pizza and chicken nuggets to eat like a leatherback. As you can imagine, leatherbacks leave behind enormous sized crawls and really deep nests to lay their eggs. I want to mention the size of eggs that any of the sea turtles lay. First up, the Loggerhead Sea Turtle. They lay eggs about the size of ping pong balls. We will mention these eggs a whole lot more later on in the program when we head down to the beach. Next up, the green sea turtle. And since they're bigger, they lay bigger eggs, about the size of a golf ball. Can you imagine how big the leatherback eggs are going to be? Let's find out. The size of a cue ball, a whole lot bigger. We've mentioned how different hatchlings look than the adults, but leatherbacks, they are not like that. They are miniature-sized versions of the adults. They are so cute. But how do you think they crawl? Do you think the hatchlings crawl differently than the adults? Put out your flippers. Hatchlings crawl like this. But when the adults come back to shore, do you think it's different like the greens? Nope, they still crawl like this. Leatherbacks are endangered, and a few of the reasons are being caught in fishing gear, loss of nesting beaches, and collecting eggs for food. Although sea turtles are protected in the United States, they face many dangers as they roam the world's oceans and nest on different beaches in many other countries. In order for us to continue to appreciate their many differences, We'll all have to band together to protect their ocean and nesting habitats. As we walk down the beach, we're going to show you the life cycle of a loggerhead sea turtle. From here on out, whenever we mention sea turtle, we mean the loggerhead sea turtle, South Carolina state reptile.